Shalom friends, Aaron here. I want to show you something about our Berkey and what I was doing with it today to solve a problem. There's our Berkey. I think the biggest one is the Crown Berkey. We got the one just under that because, you know, the filters are a lot of money. We use 4 filters, 2 plugs, so we can put a lot of water in it. I don't know how long we get out of them, filters, not a year. We just use a ton of water, which is part of the issue that I was having with the Berkey, is how often it's used. We soak beans, soak rice, cook with Berkey water always. Use Berkey water to make homemade kombuchas, and it's pretty much the only thing we drink is water. We make smoothies and use a little milk, but we don't just drink milk, and we use it for maybe coffees. But other than that, our kombucha teas, but that's all from the Berkey anyway. So we got lots of people in the house and lots of people using the spigot, and they wear out. So I don't like the plastic one that comes with the Berkey, and you can find the Berkey branded spigot and they're like 30 bucks, which is a lot of money. And I frankly think it looks exactly like all these other ones that I've purchased for half that much money, or you know, $12 to $14. And I've had 3 of these, 2 different brands. This one's an oak leaf. And I've had one other brand, but I've looked at them closely, and I'm pretty confident they're the same, that they're all made by the same company in China and then branded differently for different people to sell, distributors. Anyway, they're nice. I mean, they're stainless steel. I don't have any corrosion on them at all. Excuse me. They're in good, you know, they look nice. They hold up. They feel good still, like turning it still feels good. However, if you look closely down inside, which I can't show you, it is a steel ball valve, but the steel ball valve closes against some siliconized plastic, I think. I think that's what it is. Something food grade. I think it'd have to be silicon. But anyway, it wears out. I was just interrupted by one of our little ones here. Anyway, it wears out, and then it drips. Now this one dripped in 6 months, and it didn't drip that bad, so we just lived with it. And it's the second one I've put on here to replace one that dripped. And now, 10 months in, it dripped so bad, overnight, I can fill up a 6 to 8 ounce cup of water. And then the little kids don't always put the cup under there, because I got it up on a stand I made, and then we leave a cup under there to catch the water so we don't waste it. And then it drips all over a towel on the table, and we waste it, and they make a mess. So I was trying to find a better spigot, and frankly the only thing I could find was a restaurant quality one. I can't think of the name of it now, but it's like $120 or something. This, for example, was like 15. The Berkey branded ones are 30, and I think they're the same as these. I don't think they're any different. So they just don't hold up to our use. So I was looking for something a little bit more commercial-like. This is like for brewing, like beer brewing or whatever. I'm pleased that this actually does turn easily. I was hoping that it wouldn't be too hard. This is also a ball valve. It's a stainless steel ball valve, but there is no plastic or silicone or anything inside of this. It's just stainless on stainless. It's tighter tolerances, and I'm hoping that it won't leak. Over time, we'll see. But without the plastic to wear out, I think it'll be fine. The problem was, it was just super hard to find anything like this that had a screw-on. Gotta take my. I'll set you down for a second. Let's see. I need a screw-on. You know, it can't be some other kind of fitting, and it had to be like this. Now this is 9/16. This guy, this oak leaf. And you can see the difference in the size of the nut in there, I think. Like that's this little tiny nut. I think this would be like a, I don't know, not even a 3/4. That guy is 1 1/16. All right. But that just came with a rubber O-ring, and actually here's my O-ring right here. And I knew it wasn't going to work, but I tried to put it on. The metal just cut it. It didn't work at all. So the oak leaves, they come with one of these sort of curved stainless washers, and then like a silicone rubber ring that goes behind it, which is shaped to fit inside of this. And then you put one on the outside and one on the inside. And there's two reasons for that. So that it won't leak, obviously, the one for the inside, but also on the outside because you're putting a spigot that has a flat edge, whether it's whatever it is, the edge of the spigot is flat, and then that would rock on the round Berkey. So the first thing I did, which was no big deal, was I used a step drill. And you have to get one, a good one. I've tried cheap ones for other jobs and they just don't hold up. These aren't cheap, 40 bucks maybe. I happen to own one from a job I did a while ago for stainless. You can buy step drills that'll cut softer metals, no problem, but stainless is tough. So this cuts the stainless, no problem. This is really good stuff, rapid tap cutting fluid. So reaming out the hole was no problem because this was, you know, set up for a 9/16 and I had to get a 3/4 in there. That was easy. But trying to figure out how to seal this and have it sit on there solid was pretty rough. Well, what I ended up doing was, I don't know how well you can see that silicone washer's on there, but I cut those. I trimmed out like what would be the inside of the hole so that those go on the 3/4 shaft as opposed to this 9/16 shaft. And then I even took the one, they're kind of like, they've got this sort of curve to them. I flattened it out so the flattened edge sits against the spigot. The more round edge goes against the Berkey. The one inside I left round on both sides and put the washer on there. So I have one of these washers. There was two, remember, one for the inside, one for the outside. I put one inside. I didn't feel I needed to put one outside because this body of this spigot is much bigger than this. It's a bigger diameter. Like this isn't big enough, you know, that actually acts like a washer against that rubber anyway. So, but I did need it on the inside, and that's where I got into the trouble. And this is where, if you try to do this, you might not be happy with me because it was really hard actually, but I've done a lot harder things. So for me, I just did it. It was a pain. I had to make this hole bigger. This is super thin. I don't have anything else I could use. The shape of it's really useful for that washer, that siliconized gasket or whatever. So I put it on here on this socket that was about that size. It wants to rock around. I tried to clamp it, that didn't work. And then what I ended up doing was just holding this washer with a pair of vice grips like this. Like, you know, like just the right amount of pressure so as to not crush it, but hold it. And then I put cutting fluid on there because that helps, and then used a step drill to drill it out. But I did bend it and, you know, kind of torque it and twist it a little, and you could totally destroy this thing trying to do. Now the top side was harder, and I found I couldn't really get more than 1 or 2 turns with the drill, and this was just binding up and twisting everywhere. Turning it the other way where this, you know, convex edge sits on the washer or the socket, that worked, and I was able to get this close. So maybe you could do it without a step drill, because that's hard, but it's going to take you a while. I stopped before I got it big enough, and then I just filed it with a file, you know. And it took a while because it's, you know, the stainless is hard. But I did file it big enough to get that washer. This might be upside down or whatever, to get that washer on there. And then I had to dig into my automotive repair box and get out this 1 1/16 wrench, you know, to tighten that baby up. But it worked out. And hey, Andrew, guys, you guys, I don't believe you're working over there if you're giggling, you know. It's not playtime. If you can be messing around and work, that'd be fine, but I don't know. Those two things don't normally go together. So this is a nice one. I'll leave the link for this. I bought it on Amazon. I don't like to buy things on Amazon, but I had a super hard time finding anything that I could make work. It's got a little rubber O-ring on there, and you can put this fitting in. which is nice. It's barbed, so you could put a hose on there if you wanted for something. It's really nicely made. It screws on. I'm just going to leave it because, you know, it makes it for a good spout. It flows nicely. You can see it. It wiggles, but the other one does that too. It's nice and tight. And it doesn't leak. Of course, this didn't leak. Oops, throwing it on the ground. This didn't leak when it was new. I'll hold on to this. Maybe I'll put it on a barrel or something if I need it. It's useful for something, and I don't have any rubber, but I could make something for it. So I won't throw that out. It does kind of drip a lot, but maybe it's useful. Put it on the shelf. Anyway, so that's what I did. I'll leave the link for this, and it's a little bit of work, but to me I think it's worth it, and hopefully it'll be long lasting. The one downside to doing what I did here, the one downside to that is that, now you can see me in the Berkey without me flipping this around, is that once you've made the hole in the Berkey big enough that this isn't going to go in there anymore. Like, this won't work. It could maybe, yeah, I don't know. It's probably not going to work very well. So once you've made that hole bigger, you're now committed to putting something 3/4 in there instead of 9/16. But anyway, it works really nicely. I already tested it out. It doesn't leak. And I filled it up with non-Berkey water and just kind of watched the flow. It's a really nice steady stream. A little bit faster and more consistent than this even. So I'm happy with it. Anyway, that's that. Gonna fill the Berkey up and enjoy our new spigot. Shalom, friends. Oh, and if you don't have a Berkey or something like this, highly recommend these things. These are amazing. And definitely, if you've not looked into the fluoride that's in municipal water and you have municipal water, get these white fluoride and arsenic filters. And depending on where you are, there's a lot of arsenic in your water, no matter what your municipality tells you. If there's any farming in your area especially, or if you're getting your water from a river that has farming runoff, you're going to get a lot of arsenic in your water, and you want to clean that out. And it's also very important to get the fluoride out. So anyway, these are awesome. The filters are expensive. I hear rumors that people have figured out how to clean them and get some more life out of them. We might do that. I would just say that we save all of our Berkey filters that are too slow for us to use on a regular basis, and we have one other Berkey. And if we needed to in an emergency, we could put those on, and they filter. They don't stop up, but they don't filter quickly enough to be really useful. But we could, you know, have that set up so that we're filtering with 2 Berkeys and getting more water out of those filters. But we try to keep those in case for some reason the day comes we can't get any Berkey filters, and also hopefully want to stock up on Berkey filters. But we use so many of them, it's hard to keep stocked up on them because they're expensive. Anyway, until next time. Shot of the Berkey when I say goodbye.